family. How is everyone doing tonight? I hope everyone is doing well. Oh, wow. What a day. Hendo, how are you doing?
I've had better days, but I've had worse days, so it is what it is. I mean, we've already gone through it enough with not going to where we thought we were going to go in the playoffs. And then we get the news today from out of nowhere. A lot of us were actually blindsided by it. So it's not a good day for Ravens fans.
For sure. For sure. I the news hit me kind of, wait, huh? What? So, anyway, we're going to share our thoughts, talk about it a little bit tonight, and figure out kind of what our next steps need to be in terms of where do we go from here. So today, news came out that Justin Tucker, who many of us have touted as a Hall of Fame kicker, name will go down in history as the best to ever do it, was or has been accused of inappropriate behavior, and multiple, I guess, individuals have come forward with that. What was your instant reaction to it, Hendo, when you heard the news?
When I first saw the news, somebody texted it to me, and it was just like a little snippet. So it wasn't like a news story or anything. So I was just like, somebody out here playing a gag. It's a joke. All this will blow over. Then I went into the chat with Coach, and Coach had it pulled up. So I'm like,
Mm,
oh, this is real. This is something that actually happened. And to me, it's a little disappointing. And I know that the climate and the time that we're in right now, innocent until proven guilty. Sometimes things happen that
mm,
aren't necessarily true. But for me, my first thought went to Deshaun Watson. And I'm not here to presume guilt or innocence, but I just know that when the same thing happened with Deshaun Watson, people jump to conclusions. And there
mm.
are a lot of Ravens fans right now that are jumping to conclusions that that man is guilty. We don't know yet, but there are some circumstances and things that have come up recently that may point to him being guilty or maybe some inappropriate conduct. I'm not saying that he's guilty, allegedly, just saying that there may have been some inappropriate conduct. They say this is the reason that he and his wife got divorced. There was a tweet that came out in 2021 and one that came out last year, alleging some things had already happened. So this isn't really brand new. And I just think the biggest thing that's going to come out of this is even if Tucker is innocent, let's say he's innocent, if some things happen, he still can be suspended by the NFL. Like they don't need you to be found guilty in a court of law before they suspend you. And then if he is necessarily guilty, there has been speculation that they have reached out to the organization years ago and let them know of his improprieties. Now, if they did that, the individuals that were involved, how are they going to be punished?
Hmm.
Leading up to the season now, do we need to add a kicker into our equation for the draft? So it's a lot of things going on, a lot of moving parts to where this off season, which hasn't even begun yet because we're still in the 2024 season, is starting to look worse for this team.
Absolutely. This is one of those things that kind of, it hits you, comes out of nowhere, and unexpectedly, you are finding yourself having to pivot. And like you mentioned, if the Ravens organization knew about this, if that front office knew about this for years, heads need to roll. There needs to be an investigation there. Jobs need to be in jeopardy, because for the Ravens to always represent that they are, an organization that has like zero tolerance, no tolerance for any type of crime or bad acts. If that be true, and that's the kind of like been your mantra all of these years, and that you stand up for right, then if you knew about this, Ravens, that's something that I'm wanting to hear about. I want to know what the Ravens knew.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know, and if they did know, when did they learn? What did they learn? And why wasn't any action taken? That's kind of where I stand with it. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a messy situation. and it brings into question because a lot of us like to pride ourselves on speaking about what this organization represents. You know, the Ravens front office owner, they appear to be the epitome of class throughout the NFL. Like you don't hear anything wrong with them, but then it brings to light the situation that happened with Ray Rice to what happened now. And a lot of people are going to say, well, we had video evidence with Ray Rice. We don't have video evidence as of now when it comes to Justin Tucker. But to me, and I always said this even during the Ray Rice saga, if Ray Rice didn't have 348 yards rushing that year, they would have brought him back. His play has started to slip. Justin Tucker is a potential future Hall of Famer who is still very valuable to this team. So if they did learn of what he did wrong, he's still useful to the team. He
Yeah.
is one of the faces of the franchise. He has commercials. He represents us in a certain light, supposedly. So I don't think that if they did know, they just took it as, well, we'll deal with it once it comes out. And since it never really came to light until now, they just swept it under the rug.
Oh, it's just, it's one of, again, I keep going back to, it's one of those things where I wasn't planning to even, this wasn't on my radar. This was not on my radar. I was going to focus on what the Ravens need to do to kind of get us over the hump moving forward, going into the next season. And as we get started in this stream, I just want to say hello to everyone who's already joined in the chat. It's a difficult day for the Ravens since earlier this afternoon. We see all of you. Thanks for being here, Tanja, Jay the Six, Brodney, Optimus Prime, Jeff J. Shout out to Agnes, all of our channel members. D Weezy's here. Chiaki Williams, thanks for being here. Heather, good to see you. Glad you're here. Thank you for being here. Attitude Pop, Flock Nation. I see all of you. Thank you. Thank you. As we get started, I just want to make sure that this is a very mature conversation that we're going to have tonight. There will be no tolerance of, disrespect or crude jokes or anything like that. This is something that we're just addressing, kind of sharing our thoughts, but we want to make sure that we keep it mature, we keep it clean around here, and your dialogue is always welcome. But, for the Ravens, I just, I do believe absolutely that if they knew, there needs to be some type of swift punishment, including, not limited to, firing of some individuals. That's where I stand. Now, will that happen?
Probably
Right. Probably not. But you can't hold yourself as an organization that believes in doing right, following the law, and keeping everything above board, yet secretly something like this, if it's true. Again, I don't know the evidence. I wasn't there. I'm just going by what I've seen so far today on social media, but let the evidence play out as it will, and let there be a determination made. And once there is a determination made, then I expect to see some type of ramification if there was any wrongdoing or even knowledge of wrongdoing on the part of the organization.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me because I grew up in a house full of women, and I have daughters and I have granddaughters, and just every day the thought of somebody doing something like this to them, just traumatizing them because they feel that they can. And I also raised an athlete, and I don't know, he still might be the record holder at Catonsville, but I dealt with some of the attitude that comes with being coddled and feeling like you deserved everything. Even his mother just let him run amok at times because he was this high caliber athlete. And sometimes athletes who've been told yes all their lives have a hard time hearing no and think that they can get and take anything that they want. Not to say that this is the case with Justin Tucker, but I've seen it up close and personal. So like, this is something that's really hitting me. And then also I will personally, if Justin Tucker is guilty, if he is guilty, I'm just saying if he's guilty, not saying that he is, but if he is guilty,
Yeah.
I will be the first person to go down to M&T Bank Stadium and picket. I'm going to picket
Yeah.
because you say you have a zero tolerance policy of any improprieties. You say you have the zero tolerance policy,
Yeah.
but yet and still you let this go on. But back in the day, this was your reasoning for drafting Kamale Correa and Bronson Kafusi. So because of this, I'm going to have to boycott, because if that was the case, we could have took George Pickens. We could have took some other guys that were in that draft. I didn't have to live through years of these guys failing if you let this go on.
Hendo, I thought we agreed that we wouldn't bring up Bronson Kafusi, and
I'm just saying.
what's the other one? Kamala.
Kamale Correa.
Kamale Correa. I thought we agreed that we were no longer going to bring up those two names.
I'm just saying,
I just want to
if you swept this under the rug, there's no reason we should have drafted them dudes and drafted real players. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, for
That's all I'm
sure.
saying.
For sure. Hey there, Nigerian Nightmare. I see you, Chike. Yeah, and Chike raises a good point, and Tanja said it too. These, at this point, in this system of jurisprudence, he is innocent until proven guilty. These are nothing more at this time than allegations, and we have to treat it as such. No matter how much we think, oh, he definitely did it, we don't know that. We're not the judge. We're not the jury. We're none of those things. We're just kind of listening and watching as this story unfolds. But Chike brought up a good point. When Deshaun Watson got suspended, wasn't he found innocent and was still suspended by the NFL? And that could happen. That very well could happen, Chike. No matter what happens, I don't know if there's going to be criminal charges or whatever, he could still be suspended by the NFL. And then that brings up Tanja's point. Even if we do have Tucker, right? And that's, again, all of us we're just talking, right? So nobody is saying he's suspended. Nobody is saying he's going to, but if we do have him, this could really mess with his psyche. This could really mess with his head, his mind, in terms of, okay, all of these allegations are swirling around about him, and we're going to need a kicker to be locked in and focused in just over 8 months, 7 months. So that is now kind of turning to the next point. Where do we go from here in terms of this offseason? What's next for the Ravens in terms of a kicker?
Yeah, look for one. That has to be in the Ravens' plans. You don't know what's going to happen because, like I said earlier, he doesn't have to be found guilty. If you shed a negative light on the shield, they will suspend you. Originally, they gave Deshaun Watson 11 games. They knocked it down to 6.
Yeah.
But he doesn't even have to go to court, to be honest with you. If they just feel like, you know what, you made us look bad, they will suspend him. But even more so, like they said, it could all be in his head. Now, there were some things that were said that early this season, they were made aware that this was coming out. And that's why he was struggling during the season, because he had this weighing on his mind. We don't need next season to make a championship push and actually get certain things correct and then have to worry about kicking once again. I thought personally, like the last few days, the Ravens were possibly trying to get things together and make some moves to better this team. They let go of some guys that their positions weren't working out the way we thought that they should. I'm like, okay, maybe John Harbaugh gets it. Maybe he needs to bring in some fresh blood. We're going to make a change. But then this happens, and it takes away the focus from what we're trying to do, what the team is trying to accomplish for next season. So now we have to add something else in here. Now, what do we do as far as our general manager goes? Is he going to blow a 3rd-round pick on a kicker now?
I mean, he's all but going to have to, because at this point, it's kind of one of two things. Either Justin is going to have to face some type of consequence, be it suspension or otherwise, and we need a kicker, or nothing's going to happen. Investigation is going to find that this was not true, and his mind still might not be right or ready. We'll still need a kicker. So either way, when we ask the question, and please weigh in the chat, where do you think the Ravens go from here? With this news, and again, it's just news. It's not anything confirmed. But with this news today, let us know in the chat. And if you're watching on replay, thank you. Leave a comment down below. Where do the Ravens go from here in terms of how we prioritize for this offseason? We've seen how close these games can be. they come down to a field goal. Our last game we played, we lost by how many points?
Dos Equis.
So when we are playing these games that end up really, really in a tight score, you need your kicker,
Right.
right? So let us know in the chat, where do we go from here?
You have to get a kicker,
But
because even he could be, listen, he could be found innocent tomorrow. Like, they could say, oh, this was some baloney, he didn't do anything wrong. When he goes to these visiting stadiums, they are going to heckle him. The things that some of these people say out of their mouths, I think, do we have to go to Buffalo, or does Buffalo come to us? Doesn't matter.
ooh,
But
I don't know.
right.
Yeah.
The fans, they will say anything. I remember during the Ray Lewis trials, some of the things that came out of those people's mouths that they said to another human being. Like, they will say these things to him while he's lining up to kick. There will be signs and there will be mentions of what they thought that he did. Even if he was proven innocent, they will use every tactic they can to get him off of his game. And he already was struggling this last season for a period. What's going to happen a year older with wear and tear, the mental anguish that's going to be put on him? His leg strength may be diminishing. Like, all of these factors, you have to prepare, even if he's innocent, for the future, or the possibility that he's not the Justin Tucker that we've known since we got him in 2012 undrafted. So
Yeah. Yeah. And for those of you who are just now joining, thank you for being here. Please go ahead and
appreciate
hit the like button for us. And if you are new, welcome, subscribe, and join the family. We are just kind of recapping the news that kind of shocked most of us, if not all of us, today about Justin Tucker, and kind of where do we go from here. And I did not have on my to-do list for the Ravens. Yeah, I have a to-do list for the Ravens, but I did not have on my list add a kicker.
All
Let's
right.
go ahead and put that down now. Do we get one, in the draft, free agency, if there's one available? I don't know. But, ugh.
It's hard
Some,
to say, but it was amazing that a lot of these teams just picked some guys up off the street. Kansas City did it for a few weeks, and the guys played relatively well. If we do the things that we're supposed to do as an organization, and we get the pieces in place for Lamar, we shouldn't have to worry about field goals. Now, yes, they come in handy. You go down, you go up 3-0, it may change the parameters of the game. But if we do what we are supposed to do as an offense, third year in Todd Monken's system, Lamar Jackson better, hopefully bring in a wide receiver that complements what we already have, we shouldn't have to worry about kicking field goals.
yeah, Robert, good evening. Thanks for joining. He says kickers are a dime a dozen, but great kickers, are they a dime a dozen? And that's the thing that we had in Justin. Maybe not so much this past season, because we know it was a bit of a roller coaster. But prior to this past season, great kicker. And I'm going to even put him in that category, even though, we have to now deal with these allegations. But he's still a great kicker. He has a phenomenal career. No matter what the outcome of this is, he still had a great career. And I just don't know that, kickers are a dime a dozen, but a great one. That might be
Yeah,
a little challenging.
yeah, but even very good kickers don't miss extra points.
You're right. You are right
And I'm
about
and,
it.
and you have to move on. You have to move on at some time. Adam Vinatieri, he had a decline. Gary Anderson, he had a decline. My favorite of all time, Morton Anderson. They all have a decline, and you have to prepare for it sooner rather than later. So even if you have to free up that extra spot and have a kicker on the roster, just in case, we did that with what was his name, Curry, whatever. Don't go down to Inner Harbor, I can't remember his name, but we carried an extra kicker for a minute. Like, we may have to do that for the season, because you just never know, and you don't want to get stuck not having somebody to kick these extra points.
Yeah, I do. I hope he's innocent as well.
Thanks.
Oh, she's a nurse. You're a nurse practitioner. Thank you for the work you do. I
Appreciate it.
really appreciate those who are in the medical profession, because I'm squeamish, and I just know that it takes a really special someone to care for other people. And really, really thank you. And not just you, but everyone else who might be in the the medical profession. So yeah.
Yeah. And,
Mm, yeah.
yes,
Wow.
indeed. Listen, and I'm gonna say this. I'm not optimistic on this one. I'm not very optimistic on
Mm,
this. And I only
mm,
say that because I kind of got fooled once. Like, you want to believe that these guys are innocent and believe that maybe some people are trying to do things for monetary gain. You never know. But with the Sean Watson situation, the more I thought about it, the more I came to the realization, when you have athletes and athletes find good barbers, good chefs, good trainers, good masseuse, they tend to stick with the same one. So when the allegation came out with Deshaun Watson and more women started coming forward, it's like, why do you need to keep going to these different ones? If you found someone that is good for you, most of them hire them on personally. They
yeah.
don't go to clinic to clinic to clinic to person to person to person. That's why I feel like maybe it may not all the way be true, but there may be some merit to some of these allegations. So we just need to prepare for the worst.
Yeah. We have a question. And if you do have a question for us, go ahead and drop your question in the chat. We're just here talking, kind of sharing our thoughts, our feelings. And I've shared mine that he's innocent until proven guilty. Let the evidence play out as it will be. But in the meantime, the Ravens need to be thinking about what their next move is going to be. So, Praveen, thanks for joining, said, should Tucker be suspended? I'll start with that one. Tucker should absolutely be suspended if and only if, once the evidence has been evaluated and there is a convincingly, I guess, proportionate amount of evidence or overwhelming amount of evidence, and it has come out and a decision has been made, whether that's in a court of law or whether that's through the NFL. However that may be, if a decision is made that he is in fact guilty of what has been, alleged of him, then yes, he should be suspended. However, on the flip side of that, if the evidence is that no, this was not true, this did not happen, as it, there's evidence to the contrary,
Right.
I don't think he should be. So it just depends on how this plays out, Praveen. Hendo?
Yeah, like I said, and until evidence is presented that without a shadow of a doubt makes him guilty, then no, he shouldn't be suspended. But one thing that's going to be interesting is two of the places that he went to said that they told him he was banned and he could not come back.
Yeah.
He said that never happened. Nobody ever told me I couldn't come to a specific place. Now, if they provide documents proving that they sent a letter to him not to trespass, now we're going to start having different conversations, because it's not hard to prove. It's not hard to prove that you sent somebody a letter saying, listen, because of your
Yeah.
activity, we no longer want you in our establishment. So
Yeah.
when things start to get leaked, we'll start to have a clearer picture. But until then, you can't suspend them because you don't have any reason to.
Yeah. I think, like I said, this needs to play out first, Praveen, before we talk suspension. And I think that's only fair. We can't speculate, well, because none of us were there. I mean, maybe somebody was, I don't know if you're in the chat, but I wasn't there. I can't
Right.
make a determination if it did or did not happen as
Facts.
alleged. And be more, Kat says 11 draft picks. Exactly. Before, in one of my last videos, I said, we don't need 11 draft picks. We have 7 original picks and we have 4 comp picks. We don't need all 11. Okay, I might need to take that back. I might need to do a I was wrong video
Wrong for what?
because we might need all 11 picks. I'm just teasing, not to say we need all 11, but we might need an extra pick that I had not accounted for, because my thought process was trade up in the draft. Get rid of some of those picks. Package up some of those picks in the offseason and free agency and during the offseason and
Ain't gonna happen.
get you a solid player. Package it up with a draft pick, right? We might need we might need 1 or 2 more than I didn't give a specific number. I didn't say, oh, the Ravens only need 5 draft picks or 6. I didn't give a certain number. But we might need 1 or 2 more than I had kind of counted. Maybe. Good evening, Obs. Thank you so
Hey,
much for being here. Yes, that is my girl, Simply Obs. Thank you. So good to see you. And she says, get the kicker. Whew. Ah. I knew we'd have to come to this place eventually. And I think seeing how Justin Tucker's consistent play was just not there this year, I knew, okay, eventually we'd have this conversation like, hey, we need a kicker.
mhm.
This news today kind of, I think, sped that up just a bit. But we shall see. We shall see. Let us know if you have any questions for us. You know,
Trade Flowers.
wait, let me catch
Andre,
up.
no, first of all, I don't know how Steelers fans got in here anyway. Trade Flowers.
Oh, stop it. Hey, Black Eyes. Yeah,
What's
that's
happening?
just people. And that's why I say in this space here, we don't tolerate the jokes. We don't tolerate any of that because I just don't think that that's necessary.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, if this is true, there are victims who are impacted by this. And if it's not true, you have somebody who needs to try and vindicate themselves. So either way, this is to me, it's a serious matter. So yeah, I know jokes are on social media, but I just think, focus on getting to the bottom of the matter. Focus your energy on that as opposed to
Right.
cracking all the jokes. But to each his own. To each his own. How are you feeling, Ravens flock, with the news? Let me catch up. I'm going to even bypass Andre. He just said trade. Andre just
Yeah.
comes in here every time doing this, just
Because he
kicking up
knows this team isn't worth a crap. And
trade
it's okay.
flowers.
It's okay. It's okay, Andre. I understand. That's why you're here with us. And I do really appreciate you spending your time hanging out with
Uh,
us, even though you are a Steelers fan. You're up in here a lot because you want to be on the winning side of history in the AFC North. I get it. It's okay.
yeah. Yeah. Hey, Black Daniels. Thanks for
What's
being
up, buddy?
here. Black. Tough news today, Black Daniels. Tough news today for the flock. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We need to trade up in this draft, go get your guy. But now I'm having second thoughts. Like how many, we have 11 draft picks. We might need an extra one or two because we need a
We don't.
kicker now.
No, no, no. And like Reg said, Justin Tucker was undrafted.
Yeah, he
Not
was.
saying not saying
Yeah.
that you can luck into a Hall of Fame kicker
Mhm.
undrafted, but it's kind of like finding a punter. You don't need to waste a resource in the fourth round on drafting a punter that shanks punts in vital situations. We
Yeah.
already got we could find anybody to do that. So what's
Yeah.
up, Nitro? I am distraught because it's like it keeps getting worse, and it's like what's next? What's next for this offseason? And if the Ravens had made it to the Super Bowl, would this have come out at this time and been a distraction for us going into the Super Bowl if we would have made it that far?
Yeah. Um, wow. But,
No good
you
outcome.
know, no bueno. No bueno.
Right.
Uh-oh. Justin says, I see you bypassed me about my statement about Tucker. There have been several messages coming through. Leave your message again for me, Justin. I must have missed it. I was trying to skip to the front because I was so far behind. So my apologies. Um, leave your message again, and I'll make sure to get to it. But listen, now the Ravens, they kind of need to go back to the drawing board and figure some things out because what you thought you kind of, the direction that you thought you were going in, you might need to kind of just switch it up a little bit, change that up a bit. Why? Because now add kicker to the growing list of positions of need this upcoming off season. So, hey there, MDT Sports. He says that you guys think Tucker is getting released.
Yeah, he's going to.
You think so?
If only to save face for the organization. Probably so. Yeah. Uh,
Mm, no, I mean, I don't think so. Do we know what the women are alleging? Inappropriate misconduct, but I'll leave it there, and you can certainly go on social media and Google it, or it's all over the web. I don't really want to get into that on the channel, but just misconduct, alleged misconduct, and against a few women. So, and I will leave it right there.
6 of them.
Yes. So that's what it is. I don't think he's going to get released. I think he will get released if it's determined that these allegations are true.
Right.
But that could take time. That's not saying that that's going to happen between now and the start of the regular season.
True.
So my question then to you, Hendo, and to everyone in the chat, if this is not resolved, if there's not an actual determination of whether it did happen or it didn't, if that's not reached between now and whatever day we play our first game, late August, late August, what do we do with Justin Tucker?
I don't think we have anything to worry about as far as it affecting the season. It's kind of like the Rashee Rice incident. He got into that accident. His court case is until the end of the year. He was able to play out the full season. And sometimes, like I said, even though the NFL will suspend you over shedding a bad light on the shield, they do wait for court proceedings. So if he does get a court date set for, let's say, December, January, he'll still be able to play this season. So he may be able to finish this season out just depending upon when the proceedings are, and it won't be an issue. It's just that, once again, court of public opinion, how is it going to affect the Ravens, and how are they going to deal with the fallout from all of this, especially from inside their own fan base? Because like I said, the strongest comments that I've heard so far today have come from Ravens fans, not even the outside world. It's those of us within this fan base that have just said some horrible things. So
Yeah.
he should be able to play the season out, no issue. But did the Ravens want to deal with this?
Right. Yeah, certainly. Black Daniel says, I'm focused on the draft. O-line needs an upgrade. I mean, true. And Justin Lewis said it earlier. We can't let this kind of distract us. We have a lot on our plate right now. Not just the O-line, Black Daniels. We need an edge rusher to complement Odafe Oweh. We need some help in the secondary. What about our linebackers? We know we still have difficulty protecting the middle of the field. Hendo, are you okay over there?
That's why we fired our linebackers coach.
I know. How are you guys feeling about that? So let's kind of move on, shift gears for a moment. How are you all feeling about that? Firing of the linebackers coach. Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'm all for, if you're not getting the job done, let them go. But don't try to scapegoat people for what others are lacking. Like, to be quite honest with you, I'm not saying that he was great at what he did, but you threw Trenton Simpson in there. He obviously wasn't ready. You tried to put Malik Harrison in there and have him play inside and outside. Like, you set yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
Hewitt's gone. The secondary lapses were kind of put on him. I'm not sure that he told you to sign Eddie Jackson. I'm sure he didn't tell you to sign Marcus Williams. I'm sure he probably wasn't the one saying, let's keep Brandon Stevens in the game. But more importantly, and not to go against anything that anybody else is saying, the O-line, edge rusher, the most important need has been stated already by a lot of these publications and Eric DeCosta himself. We need a third safety. That seems to be the most important position on the field. We need a third safety. Which is priority. Forget protecting your all-world quarterback. Forget opening holes for your all-world running back.
Sure.
Forget getting weapons for the guy that just threw for 4,000 yards with some very decent guys. We need a third safety to take us over the top, because that third safety is going to stop Patrick Mahomes, and that third safety is going to stop Josh Allen from tush pushing. So focus on safeties.
I agree with that. Focus on safety, but I'm sorry. I'm saying it again, we need an edge player that would be an ideal complement to my guy, double-digit Odafe Oweh. Because here's the thing. If you get, and this is just what I think, if you get that interior pressure and the
Mhm.
pressure from the edge, that is going to significantly reduce the amount of, like, I guess, another way to say it, pressure on the secondary, because you are forcing those throws. You are throwing off timing. You are putting pressure right in this man's face, whoever that man is, the quarterback. That's what I think we need. A game wrecker, bring in an edge rusher.
How is that better than a third safety? Not a one or a two, but a third safety. How is that better than a three?
I'm
Please
telling
tell
you,
me.
please tell you, I'm telling you what I think the Ravens need. I'm not saying we don't need a safety. I didn't say that.
Yolanda, we don't need a third safety. That
I
is asinine. A third safety, a priority?
No, I didn't say it needs to be a priority, but just what
Not you. No, 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 not you. But this is what they're putting out there. We need to go out there and get us a third safety.
I mean, look,
Oh, we might as well get another middle linebacker too while we're at it.
we need to address the linebacking core as a whole. I know, Sean, Ravens are absolutely going corner first round. I've already geared myself up to just accept it, right? MDT Sports, hey there. I disagree with you on this one, but he's a kicker. If he goes, then he doesn't even matter. He's a kicker. Games come down to a kicker. Crucial games come down to a kicker, a field goal, an extra point. We've seen it. And when you don't have that on your team, oh,
I mean, Billy Cundiff was a kicker. He missed a 32-yarder that could have tied the game up in the AFC Championship game. He was just a kicker, which was the reason that there was a competition and we brought in Justin Tucker in the first place, because your guy couldn't kick a basic routine field goal. So no, there's no such thing as just a kicker, because there are certain kickers that are clutch in certain moments. Billy Cundiff was not one of them.
Hi, Corey. What do you mean? Now that the contract is coming? Wait.
Well, he's going into his fifth year option, so
Yeah,
technically this is it's still a contract
it's
year
still a
for him.
contract year. Okay.
But unlike Matabike and some others, I don't think he has it in him. I think 10 sacks is probably his ceiling.
You think what?
10 sacks is his
Don't.
ceiling, right?
No,
And
definitely.
we better hope and pray a 35-year-old Kyle Van Noy still has something left in the tank, because David Ajabo, he may not even be on the roster. Now Tavius Robinson, he was all on that field in that Buffalo game.
He
He
was.
was
Shout out to Tavius Robinson.
he's
Somebody
the one
had to
that
do it in the middle of the field because nobody else was. Black
he was
James,
the one stealing always snaps.
we're not going to turn this into a conversation about Odafe Owe. Wasn't Ojabo the help for Owe? He could have been. Here's my philosophy, right?
No.
Hold on a second. Here's my philosophy on that. He could have been, but the Ravens have a known history of drafting injured players. And I keep saying this. You really don't know how a player is going to respond and bounce back from their injury. Yeah, they might be cleared medically. Yeah, they might get all the clearances from the doctors, the trainers, the this, the that, the third, the governor, the mayor. All of them may say he's ready to go. But if he is having some lingering effects because of that injury, he might not be the same player. So with that, I'm going to say, yes, he could have and probably should have been the help for Owe. But Ojabo has just not been, he's been a non-factor. I hate to say it. So that's my thought. Hendo?
No black. We didn't have Aiden Hutchinson on the other side to
Wait a minute.
compensate and free Ojabo up. I don't care if he was 100% healthy. He'd have been an okay player. He wasn't what people thought he was, and everybody, oh, we got a first round player. I'm tired of that nonsense. Listen, it's just like and I haven't started my draft coverage yet and looking into prospects, but I
Yeah.
saw one guy that they're the guy from Texas A&M, I believe, and they're projecting him as an edge in the first round to the Ravens. And I looked, and I know stats are not everything, but I saw 1.5 sacks. Please, please
Just stop it.
stop giving me guys that had zero production in college and think they're going to come into the NFL and make this tremendous leap. We did that with Owe. He had 0 sacks. 0. And yes, he balled out this year. But it took him 4 years to contribute. 4 years. We're in a Super Bowl window right now. We don't have 4 years to wait for these draft picks to finally catch up in their contract year to make a dent. We need them. We need the production right now.
Right. And I said in a video I did, either the last one or maybe the one before that, I don't remember. Just go watch all of them. But one of the videos I said, I want Max Crosby, or if not Max Crosby, if that's just way too much, if we can't make that happen, which we can, but it would, take a
Can
lot of, okay, fine.
money
If
wise, money wise.
money wise, right? All right. So if we cannot make that happen, all right, go get Myles Garrett. That sounds realistic, reasonable to me. Go do that.
We don't
Either
have the
one.
cap space.
Okay. I don't want to hear about we don't have cap space. If you stop mismanaging your money from year to year, then you wouldn't be in this position to where you say, we don't have the cap space. Other teams have cap space.
I mean,
Other
theoretically,
teams,
technically, we can make any cap space we want to.
there you go.
Technically,
Technically, right.
we could do anything we wanted to do. Honestly, because
It's true.
when they say you can kick the can down the road, the one thing about that road is the road never ends.
Facts.
It never ends. But of
Uh,
course, we love to come in here and say, well, this ain't Madden. You can't
mm,
treat this game like Madden. I know the Los Angeles Rams treated it like Madden and won a Super Bowl and went back to another one and are still competitive without having a first round pick since what, 2016?
mm, mm, yeah.
Yeah, but so I mean, we could get these. It's unlikely that Cleveland would trade Miles in the division.
I know.
Pete Carroll getting rid of Max Crosby. I mean, it could happen.
I
It
doubt
could
it.
happen.
I
But
doubt
once
it.
again, would we utilize him correctly?
Well, we now have Chuck Pagano. I know he is a secondary. I know he is a senior secondary coach, but he has many years of experience as a defensive coordinator, so he understands the entire defense. So he
Right.
needs to weigh in there too. But hey there, Wonderkin Show. Hey there, Nitro. As long as
Good.
Brandon Stevens is there, somebody will always be open. Well, I hope that he is someone else's headache to worry about next season because I don't want to see him on the team. Yes, I
I
saw it
mean,
earlier. Tanja, MDT Sports, shout out to Tavius Robinson. Yeah.
yes. Listen, your general manager said, yeah, your man's gonna have some difficult decisions testing free agency. So it's pretty much code speak for he's gone. He's out of here.
Yeah, he's gone. So
He's gone. He's out of here.
Ty, wait now. Wait. No, Hendo, don't you make the face like he ain't lying. Don't do that. That's terrible. But trade away
I
for a
like the way you
pick.
think. I like the way you think.
Ty, come on now. Let's not do that. It's been a rough day, Ty. Have mercy today. You guys just have mercy on Oway today. But
Yolanda,
we do have a super chat. We do have a super chat. So let
you're not
me
even let me finish. I just want to ask you a question.
know because
Have,
there was going to
have
be
you ever? No,
something
no. I
be.
was going to ask you. Have you ever seen the movie Four Brothers?
No, I have not.
Oh, because there's a partner, and he was like, "I like how you do business." And oh,
Oh,
wait for anybody, I like that business, and business is good.
well, there you go. I have not seen the movie, but that's fine. We have a $10 super chat coming in from Heather. Thank you so much, Heather.
Appreciate it. Appreciate
I
it.
always looked at Tucker as a stand-up gentleman. Now his character is in question. Hoping this doesn't cast a negative light on the Ravens organization. First of all, thank you for being here, Heather. Thanks for the donation. Excellent comment. This is one of the things where if it's true, it's horrible. If it's not true, you have this kind of dark cloud hanging over you because just the allegations alone are terrible. So I agree. I hope that this is, hope he's innocent. Hope that this is not anything, there's no veracity there. But if there is, whew, and if this is true, which only time will tell and the evidence will show it. If this is true and the Ravens organization knew, ooh, mm, mm,
It's probably that Steele boy, that Chad Steele. If anybody knew, Chad Steele knows, and he told
ooh,
his sister Sage.
yeah.
They know the truth.
Mm-hmm. And we do have a question coming in from Julius. Again, thank you, Heather. But we do have a question coming in from Julius. If you guys have, if you ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to say guys, but
Oh,
if you have,
wait a minute. You're encouraging questions now.
I've been saying
You
that
told
for,
me half an hour. We
right.
are well over at half an hour.
I know, but now that we're here, we might as well answer questions. But you got to type fast because see, Hendo's,
And I
starting to
just got off work. I need to go.
he's starting to get grumpy. So
I need to
ask
eat.
your questions. Ask your questions fast if you have them. Julius wants to know, do I think Pagano coming in, Monken not taking a head coaching job and extending with us as preparation just in case they have to let John go? That is a great question. Yes, it could be. Could very well be. But I don't know that he didn't take a head coaching job. I don't know that one was offered to him. So, I mean, I didn't hear that he was offered a head coaching job anywhere. So, and it just could be that I was out of the loop. But yeah, but now with the way things are going and in terms of the news that we've heard, Chuck Pagano coming in, Todd Monken, he might be up next. What do you think, Hendo?
There's a strong possibility. The plan possibly is, and it may not even be Chuck Pagano. The plan is just bringing in some senior type leadership because they have John Harbaugh's replacement already in the building, and they're just going to elevate him and have these senior leaders guide him until he can get a foothold on the job. Because to me, Chuck Pagano, he wasn't all that as a head coach. He was solid. He had Andrew Luck. He was decent, but he wasn't all that to me. And to say that you're going to hand the job over to him, I don't think so. You're going to hand the job over to Todd Monken? Probably not. Like I don't see that happening. But I do think there is a plan in place. Something's going on because this offseason is a little bit different than the ones in the past. And if anything is going to happen, it's like I said, John Harbaugh is going to decide to go somewhere else and try a new challenge. He's tired of getting the flack from this organization. Like you can see it in his press conference. He's tired of answering the same questions. He's tired of being the blame for all the playoff failures. And, shameless plug, I got a video coming out tomorrow that highlights the Baltimore Ravens failures in the playoffs from 2019 to 2024. Tomorrow morning, it's
Comical
going to be out. Make sure you
value.
check it out. Make sure you check it out.
Comical value, I'm sure, coming your
It's
way
not. Oh no.
tomorrow.
It's not. No. It's not comical. It's just all it does is it's just a highlight reel of why the Ravens have lost each and every season, and you draw the conclusion that you want to draw from it. I'm not particularly blaming anyone in particular. It's just you can see that there's a pattern. I didn't highlight all the patterns because I didn't feel like putting all that together, putting all that stuff in there. But you'll see. You'll see.
Yes, he does, Black Daniels. Yes, he does.
It does not.
But no, I was saying it's going to be comical because you always find a way to make something that's probably not really funny. You find a way to make it hysterical. Hey,
not this time. Not this time, though.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, family, I don't see any. Oh, yes, I do see a question.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. It's Black Daniels. Who is the coach in waiting? Monken or T? We got to answer questions we said we're going to answer. I don't think it's T. I think it's Monken. That's what I'm thinking. What do you think, Endo?
I don't know who it is, but it's neither one of those guys. And I know that T is really close to Lamar. I mean, T doesn't have head coaching experience. Monken, I think they may want to go in a direction where they're hiring somebody maybe a little bit younger. Possibly, I don't know, but I don't. Todd Monken has done well in his job as the Ravens offensive coordinator. The Ravens have gotten better both years that Lamar has been in his system, but I don't see him as head coaching material. Not to say that he's not. I just don't see him as head coaching material. Yes, his name was brandished about for a couple of hires.
Yeah,
they weren't serious. They would just say, we'll look at him because we saw what he did with Lamar, and if we take a certain quarterback or bring a certain quarterback in-house, can he develop him? I don't think it was anything serious. Zach Orr is what? Let's finish that sentence. Zach Orr is
probably
learning,
going to be the next
growing.
I hope not Zach Orr.
Zach Orr is not the next head coach of the Ravens. He barely had a hold of the job that he had this year. If he could barely keep this defense together, and they had to bring in help,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
they had to bring in 105-year-old help. Why
Hendo,
would
Hendo.
that's why Dean Pease retiring?
No, he's not retiring. He said he's going to take a back seat and he wants to spend time with his family. He's still going to be here. I understand it as he will be part-time. So he's not really. Listen, that's what he's saying.
Zoom calls.
Whatever.
Hold the
He's still on
iPad
the
higher.
payroll.
I can't see it.
He's still on the
Higher.
payroll.
You be sitting at home
Hendo.
looking at the iPad. Listen,
Anyway.
you needed help from an old man to help you run this defense. You think they're going to entrust the organization, the whole entire team to him? And I understand you brought in Chuck Pagano.
Yeah.
I understand you got you got Chuck Smith. Like, you have some guys with some experience, but I don't think that you're 1 year in as a defensive coordinator. You're 1 year in as a coordinator, period, in
Right.
at any level.
It can't
And you
be
think
Zach
you're going to
Orr.
go from 1 year
No.
coordinator to head coach?
No, it can't be. It can't be
Unless you're
Zach
Mike
Orr.
McDonald, and you're not Mike McDonald.
You sure are not. Yeah, but no, to me, it can't be Zach Orr. It can't. And I agree. Tom just said it earlier. Harbaugh is not going anywhere. Because if he were, a week ago when we had that presser, what was that, Tuesday of last week? His tail would not have been sitting in that chair.
You would think that, but it's fresh. And once again, the season is not over. We are not in the new league year yet. Season's not over.
I understand.
Only teams that have fired and let go can do what they need to do. Also, they haven't gone into contract negotiations. Now, depending upon what is said during those negotiations, could change everything dramatically. I'm just saying, he can listen. They could say, hey, we just want to see what you do after the season, and then we'll give you a new contract. He's like, no, I want a new contract right now. You don't know what's happening. Or, like I said, he may just want something new. His family is like, Dad, I'm tired of going everywhere and them calling me Harbaugh. Like, I'm tired of it.
You're the only one that does that. That's really terrible.
I'm sure there's no way I could be the only one saying that.
You're right. The two other people who have joined cahoots with you, they probably call him that as well. But what I'm saying is, my point is, if he wanted to go, he would have left. He would have gone. He would have already gone somewhere else by now. There were coaching opportunities that could have been available to him. And I understand at the time we were in contention. We were in playoff contention. I get all of that. I do. But for him to still be the head coach today, and each day that goes by, my confidence or my belief that he's going anywhere continues to wane. So I think he's going.
But what if there's an opening that he's waiting on? Like, he didn't want one of the openings that were open this year. Maybe there's a coach
can't be choosers.
When you are considered a top 10 head coach and you have a Super Bowl, let's just say, for instance, I am the Cleveland Browns. Come back in the league, 1999. I think they would have, 3-4 winning seasons since then, 2-3 playoff appearances, nothing significant. Would I take John Harbaugh and have just a winning season every year? Yes, I would. Yeah, I mean, he had ample opportunity. We don't know what's going on.
I'm telling you, Ton just said it. I agree. He's not going anywhere unless he wants to, and it's clear that he does not want to. So
I want him to.
I understand what you want. I get what a lot of us probably want watching this stream, but it is what it is. Well, family, we have gone over the 30 minutes.
Been almost an hour.
I know, almost an hour. So thank you very much. What'd you say?
I don't live stream with you. You don't tell the truth.
I do tell the truth. I said 30 minutes.
You said no more than 30 minutes.
Right.
Listen, I am a quarter's throw away from an hour.
Okay.
I don't like it. This is why you will not see me till next week sometime, maybe.
No,
I'm still mourning.
I mean, all of us are still probably very upset by the loss. I haven't gotten over it fully. I'm trying to move on, trying to turn the page, but it's not easy. And, the fact that Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and a couple of others said Pro Bowl, I'll pass.
Rex, but I prefer Rex over Harbaugh.
Oh.
he'll get the defense right.
He would
He
do
will get the,
that.
he will get the defense
He would
right.
get but what would he do for our offense is my question.
I mean, listen, I don't think he personally. I think he may bring in the right people. Um, listen, he went to an AFC Championship game with what's his face, Mark Sanchez. Mark
Mm,
Sanchez and that defense and Thomas Jones and that run game, they went to an AFC Championship game over Peyton Manning.
mm.
I think he could. I don't know if he still has it because I did see what he did in Buffalo. Like it wasn't all pretty. I would just personally, I would like a more offensive centric head coach, someone that I know, someone like a Sean McVay, 90% Kyle until we get into the playoff Shanahan, like some of those guys to maximize what we're doing with Lamar. Because if we had Kyle Shanahan's system with
Ooh,
what he with Lamar and Derrick Henry,
wow.
Zay and Likely, just we would outscore everybody, and we wouldn't need the defense to do anything because they would outscore everybody every game. Then we take that fourth round pick that we're gonna get from Mark Andrews, turn it into something nice. We good to go.
Yes, that's right. Don't do that. That's what
Appreciate
the
you.
Nigerian. Thank you,
Don't do what?
Tanja. Don't do that to Yolanda. We banter like siblings. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Big Reg. Thank you. Well, family, we are going to say good night, and hopefully there'll be some good news coming out very soon for the Ravens. Who knows what that good news will be, but hopefully there'll be some good news coming out so that Hendo and I will be right back. Our faces all up on your screen, live streaming very soon. So you all know where to find Hendo, but go ahead and let them know where they can find you just in case we have some new family members or some new people joining us. Where can they find you?
You can find me at the Rogue Pod, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Blue Sky.
All right. Well,
Come
there
out
you
with
go.
videos every now and again, and I'm here to, like Justin Lewis said, I'm here to crack you guys up.
Thank you very much. Thank you all so much for joining. Make sure you hit the like button for us on your way out. Subscribe if you're new, and we will see you very soon. Take care, family.